A daring rescue. President Trump announcing that the U.S. colonel whose plane was shot down over Iran was rescued after surviving nearly 48 hours behind enemy lines. Hundreds of service members involved in the mission. Now, the brave colonel made it out alive. The clock is ticking as Trump's deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, threatening Iran's power plants if demands are not met. The commander-in-chief telling The Hill no infrastructure targets are off the table, and that he is not ruling out boots on the ground if Iran does not make a deal soon. Plus, the first American Pope leading his very first Easter Sunday Mass in the Holy City. Live updates from the celebration at the Vatican as Pope Leo shares his message for the world. And NewsNation showing you history as it's happening. NASA's Artemis II mission entering the moon's sphere of influence as the four-person crew appears to be prepared for their lunar flyby tomorrow with a view no human has seen before. We'll bring you all the latest from the Orion spacecraft and the astronauts' journey to the dark side of the moon. Good afternoon. I'm Nick Smith in New York. It's 3 o'clock on the East Coast, and it's time for NewsNation Live. NewsNation team coverage on today's top stories. Hannah Brandt is live at the White House, but we begin with Jessica Kartalja live in Doha. Jessica, good afternoon. It was a race between the Iranians and the United States, but Jessica, it looks like the U.S. came out on top.
Yeah, which is great news tonight here, Nick. First of all, the war is escalating. We should start with that. We have new strikes here in the Middle East, a high-risk rescue mission, which, as you said, ended on a positive note, and another social media message, or threat, rather, from President Trump. Overnight, special forces rescued that second airman from the F-15 that was shot down over Iran. The U.S. is calling this one of the most complex missions of this war. This is video that you're about to see from Iran state media. It claims to be proof that Iran shot down 2 additional warplanes. We cannot confirm its authenticity. This is that video that you're seeing on your screen. According to the Wall Street Journal, though, it was American forces that destroyed 2 C-130s on purpose after saying that those planes had mechanical issues. Meanwhile, Iran launching new drone and missile strikes in Haifa today, Kuwait, as well as the UAE and Bahrain, which signals a strategy to hit their oil supply. All of those attacks coming today here in the Middle East. And Israel says it has struck Iranian energy infrastructure, and that includes a petrochemical facility. Meanwhile, as we know, the president on social media today has set a deadline for Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. So, Nick, as you can imagine, the next 48 hours here in the Middle East are going to be crucial when dealing with Iran.
NewsNation's Jessica Kartalja in Doha. Jessica, thank you so much. NewsNation Washington correspondent Hannah Brandt joins us now from the White House. Hannah, there have been so many moving parts. What do we know about the president's new threats?
Yeah, well, Nick, the president setting this latest deadline for Tuesday in a Truth Social post this morning, basically saying that U.S. forces are going to go after Iranian infrastructure on Tuesday if they don't reach a deal with them first, and if the U.S. does not see the Strait of Hormuz reopen, as it's been pressing Iran to do throughout the length of this conflict. We know that that has been one of the issues President Trump has been intensely focused on throughout this war. But we should also note that President Trump spoke on the phone to our partners over at The Hill earlier today and talked about his threats to hit Iranian infrastructure. He told them that amid these negotiations, Iran should make a deal, telling them, quote, normal people would make a deal, smart people would make a deal. If they're smart, they would make a deal. Now, he declined also to rule out the possibility of sending in U.S. ground troops if Iran does not actually make a deal with the U.S. Remember, though, over the past couple of weeks, we've seen the president set numerous deadlines in this conflict that he's then extended after saying negotiators were making some progress towards a deal. This time around, though, President Trump says Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day. In a post that he put up this morning that was filled with expletives, threatening to strike Iran's infrastructure if they don't, quote, reopen the effing strait. Now, in a separate, more cryptic post the president then put up, he said only Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, seemingly referencing that Tuesday deadline once again. That post drawing a lot of backlash from those who point out targeting civilian infrastructure is, of course, a war crime under international law. Among the critics are Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who criticized the president's post, saying he is, quote, ranting like an unhinged madman on social media, also saying he's threatening possible war crimes and alienating allies. Now, I should also note the president tells our partners at the Hill during that phone call no infrastructure targets will be off the table if Iran does not come to the negotiating table and strike a deal with the U.S. before that Tuesday deadline, Nick.
Hannah, quick question for you. President Trump isn't usually in the White House on the weekends. Why is he there this weekend, and what does his day actually look like?
Yeah, this is very rare, right? The president usually spends his weekends down in Mar-a-Lago. This weekend, he opted to stay here at the White House. The White House didn't give us a specific reason, but I am told by a White House official that he's spending his afternoon working from the White House residence. This morning, of course, he was very active on his Truth Social, both making that threat towards Iran and posting about the rescue of those 2 airmen. We know he spent some time over at Trump National Golf Course, which is near the D.C. area. It's not clear if he actually went out on the golf course, though, because it's pretty rainy out here today. So he may not have actually done any golfing. But he's also, of course, working from the White House, as we're told by the White House, speaking with journalists, including our partners over at the Hill. And then later tonight, he's scheduled to host some family here at the White House for Easter dinner alongside the First Lady, Nick.
NewsNation's Hannah Brandt reporting from the White House. Hannah, thank you so much. Joining me now to discuss decorated F-16 fighter pilot Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney. Colonel Rooney, good afternoon, sir.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you and your family. I want to start with your reaction when you heard the news.
Easter miracle, right? Early this morning, talking to my friends at Fox. But you look at this. Good Friday, we had this shoot down and got the weapons systems officer on Sunday. I'm a big believer in Providence. This is miraculous. And I just start out by thanking, my commander-in-chief, Pete Hegseth, Raisin Kane, for making what's important the most important thing. And this is a heroic rescue that we've witnessed, and just so thankful for the family of the weapons systems officer. And obviously, as a combat fighter pilot, I've flown lots of these missions. We have a saying, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But boy, the CSAR machine, the pararescue guys that went in to get the colonel, what a heroic couple days.
By everyone, Colonel Rooney, you talk about being a student of Providence. Back in Baptist Church, we always say God is always working, right? So it's one of those things.
And I'll tell you what, and when you're alone on the ground in hostile territory, you need a power bigger than yourself. And I just go back that, like, pararescue is a group of people that most of the public don't understand. Their motto is so that others may live. It's not to go, destroy the enemy. These are the most highly trained guys that go in, can fight their way in, fight their way out, and then take care of pilots like me if we're on the ground. And the scripture, John 15:13, landed on me this morning. No greater sacrifice than to lay down one life for one's friends, obviously in the spirit of Easter. But there are so many people that put their life on the line to go rescue this weapons systems officer. And that creed, leave no one behind. Man, we saw that in living color the last 2 days.
Colonel, you're giving me chills, because it's one of those things that tell those who have never served that when you go into the military, there's no more black, white, Christian, Jew. You are one color, and it's all about defending that flag and saving your brother in service, period.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. Same uniform. And, we're instruments of politics and power. Like, we're fighting for the person on our left and our right, regardless of where we go. I'm still serving as the commander of recruiting in the Oklahoma Air Guard. And when we are told to go, we salute smartly and we go.
Colonel Rooney, I do want to talk to you, though, about reports that say that this particular airman hiked along a 7,000-foot ridgeline while injured. Republican Senator Dave McCormick singing his praises. Let's take a listen.
This airman was an absolute hero. He climbed 7,000 feet. When the planners were trying to identify where he was, they couldn't imagine that he was both injured and was able to get to that point where he could eventually be rescued. So a remarkable operation that only America, only the American military and the American intel community could pull off.
Colonel Rooney, I don't want you to give any specifics, but can you talk broadly about that training and how you think maybe terrain may have helped or hindered the situation, both for the airmen trying to survive and those searching for him?
Yeah, and I'm gonna take us back a minute to something people don't talk about too, and I'll get to that point. You know, as we've seen this air battle progress from very stealthy strategic targets to non-stealth aircraft, and we call it the hunter-killer mission, out taking out these things. What people don't fully understand is we've gone from a radar missile threat to a man-pad threat, and China and Russia very involved here, pushing in the Verba, which is a highly sophisticated man-pad. And as a fighter pilot, we don't have any warning for these IR attacks. So you're going along in your F-15E, and obviously I'm speculating, but pretty good intel. They get smashed by one of these IR man-pads, and now they're punched out, right? They punch out at different times, which explains the geographic separation of the pilot and the weapons systems officer. And so once you hit the ground, we rehearse this. The last thing we do before we step to go fly a combat sortie is talk about CSAR if we are on the ground. And you are trained to escape and evade. So you want to avoid any public interaction, and you want to get as far away and as high as you can immediately to facilitate the rescue. And that is what this colonel did just flawlessly. We saw this, you know, dating back to 1995. Scott O'Grady punched out. He was on the ground for 6 days evading capture. But the pilots are such a strategic point of this rescue effort, their ability to get lost, right? Stay in communication and get high. And the fact that the colonel did this with what appears to be significant injuries, man, what a hero.
Stay in communication and limit communication at the same time, right? Because you don't want to transmit too much.
No, absolutely. And, you know, that gets into the classified piece, but we know there are windows by which we will come up and down off of comms. And the CSAR plan is so sophisticated, and it is something that was mentioned before that only we can pull off. And someone yesterday asked me, like, why aren't the allies helping? You don't want anybody else in this fight. You want pararescue, CSAR forces, because this is what we do. We're trained. It is such a coordinated initiative. And yeah, man, just a Easter miracle when you look at what could have happened and how this could have just been such a dynamic inflection point had the Iranians captured this colonel.
And Colonel Rooney, quick question for you before I let you go. There are reports that also say the CIA used deception campaigns to confuse Iranian forces about the pilot's location, and the rescue team even destroyed 2 aircraft so they wouldn't fall into Iranian hands. How big a risk and when was this rescue mission? Yeah, so it's a huge risk, but so others may live. That is what CSAR is all about. 100%. There are so many layers of CSAR. The CIA involved, misdirection, and I saw the reports. Those C-130s, by the best intel I've got, those were stuck in the sand, and we had to destroy those on the way out as we exfilled from this. That is not something that Iran shot down. You can see the propellers, that kind of stuff. But man, again, what a blessing it is as a fighter pilot to know that pararescue in the U.S. military is behind you if you find yourself in the unthinkable situation down behind enemy lines. A blessing for everyone involved, particularly for anyone who is indeed a patriot. Decorated F-16 fighter pilot Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney, thank you, sir, and happy Easter to you and your family. Yeah, God bless and happy Easter, and what an Easter celebration that Colonel is having right now. Indeed. Pope Leo, the first American Pope, holding Easter Mass for the world's 1.4 billion Catholics from St. Peter's Square in Vatican City. The Pontiff's message of hope in the face of war. And Michael Jackson making the moonwalk more famous than Neil Armstrong, but the Artemis II mission trying to outdo who? You like that? Both of them. Where the ship is now and when their lunar flyby begins, as NASA takes its first steps to putting Americans back on the moon. Plus, the Springs fire raging in Southern California, an update on containment and how much has been burned.